Hey everybody, welcome back to the EQN Sports Desk, all driven by Holiday Auto Group. I'm Drew Stew, and of course, all of our continuing coverage here from the Cow Horse Show is brought to you by our friends at Ranch Fuel. And I'm with the podcast king right now.
Working on it.
Bradley Pryor. First of all, I want to know how did you get into the podcast deal? Like, where did that even come from? We'll talk about Rafter P here in a minute.
Well, the podcast deal, what I like is how I came up talking about myself and my stories, but also I like hearing the people in the industry that have the same kind of cool stories that most people wouldn't know about. And also it gives my customers a way to get to know me as a person.
Sure.
So without me having to be I'm not just a picture on the website, you know.
Yeah.
I actually have a personality and what I stand for. So that's why I like it.
That's awesome. How long ago did you start it?
It's a little over a year and a half. So one thing I've learned is as you go along, you look back, like, wow, you grow so much.
Right.
Because when you first started, it's like, I'm almost embarrassed they still go. But,
Yeah.
the intro ones were the story.
Yeah.
The first series, 1 and 2. And so it's real emotional for me, but it told my story. And,
Sure.
the professionalism is not there as it is today. I feel like you perfect that every day.
Yeah, well, it's tough, there's and learning. I'm the same way. Look back at videos that we did 10 years ago or even a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just a constant. It doesn't matter if we're building buildings or doing this. It's just constantly getting better. And you look back and you go, wow, it's pretty interesting. Well, I commend you on doing that. I think, that's what we do here is share the stories of the people. That's it. That's the magic of it all. You can have all the lights and all the fancy whatever, but it's all about the people. And I think that's where you win this whole race on the media side of it is celebrating the people that we get to meet. Because I know in your industry, on the building side of it, people may not get to know you because you're just the contractor or whatever, but then they get to see you. And when you add that personalization to this deal, it changes the game.
And I think it helps some of the people that I'm interviewing too, is that it gets them that personality out there. Everybody knows them as a horseman, or they know them as a bull rider, or in the construction trades, what have you. But when they get to know the background of them and how they came up, even I'm surprised. The people that I thought I knew, I really didn't know. And I hear some really cool stories, especially about some of the guys that are in the game and ladies that they came from small town America, but they weren't in the rural areas. So, and them being in, leaders in the horse business and all the things they do, it's pretty cool that 4-H's and FFAs have pushed them out there, and they're industry leaders now.
Yeah, it's very cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Props for you for doing that. And anybody that's ever thought about doing a podcast and has never flipped the lights on and held the microphone in your hand, there's an internal struggle there every time, isn't there?
Well, and too is nothing about us is scripted. So all I know is their name, and if I don't know them, I don't really want to know them. I want to get it out of them when they talk. Yeah. But when they do have such a good story, you're supposed to be ready for the next question to fire off. And sometimes I get so wound up into the story, I'm like, oh, I forgot what I was supposed to, what we were even talking about. But I love that about our podcast is that you actually get the stories that throw the host off.
Yeah.
And that means they're real.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the keys I think to being a great interviewer is I'm like you. First of all, I can't read good enough to have a script.
No, me too.
So we're just out on that. Give me a name and a topic, and we'll go from there. But when you're sitting down and you get lost in somebody's story, that's when you really get, like you and I. We didn't even talk. You just came and sat down and popped open a Ranch Fuel, and then we went. Like, we didn't even prep on what we were going to talk about. But that's when you find this good stuff, because I'm not sitting here going, okay, I got to ask Brad how many square feet his last barn was, and you know what I mean.
Right.
Because then you're worried about what your next question is instead of really looking and listening to what you have to say.
Right.
That's what creates. I mean, you listen to all the best podcasters and best interviewers in the world. They go where the interview leads them, not the other way around. Right. I mean, you want to take somebody down a road sometimes, but the best thing is getting it all real.
Yeah.
So,
and another good thing about it too is people that necessarily never would do a podcast, they do one, and you get so much out of them, and they actually warm up throughout the process. But they said no to so many, and they're like, oh, this ain't so bad. But getting that out of them makes me feel good as the interviewers that they actually felt comfortable enough to talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You'll know this from doing it for so long, but the greatest accomplishment when somebody comes up to the desk here is when we get done and flip the lights off, flip the camera off, and then we sit here and talk. afterwards, and it happens all the time because they're comfortable.
Sure.
They just, they're not sweaty palmed and want to just get up and leave. We'll sit here and talk if we do a 10-minute interview, we'll sit here for 20 minutes afterwards and chat.
Right.
And that's what I think, that's when you're doing it right, because then
Right.
they feel comfortable and have fun with it. So,
Sure.
Well, good on you, man. It's fun to talk about that stuff.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Grit branded podcast. I always screw that up. I don't know
Well,
why.
that's a lot.
I can do all the storyline, but the intro and the end, they always have to make me redo it. I can't spit it out just right. And I named the damn thing. You think you think I would remember that?
Yeah, right.
But I do mess it up sometimes. I get so wrapped up in my head about what I want to talk about.
That's funny. It's one of those deals where you screw it. Now it's in your mind that you screwed up, so it's just like one of those deals. It's always going to happen.
One day they're going to release a blooper, and you're going to have to beep out
Oh
a lot
man,
of stuff because it's those.
You and I would be kicked out of the industry if,
Yes.
if they heard our bloopers reels. That is a true statement. Oh man. Well, let's talk turkey a little bit. So Rafter P, man, you guys, it seemed like it just came out of nowhere. It's just like everybody says, right? It was an overnight success that took you probably 20 plus years to build. Yeah. But you're the official builder of the NRCHA. Let's talk about your business a little bit. For people out there that may not know what you do, tell us about your business.
What Rafter P does is, number one, we're big on community, so we love supporting the industry that we work in. That's why we partner with the NRCHA. But what Rafter P does as a whole, my team, what we put together is we actually can do the infrastructure design of a full-blown property when it comes from nothing. Mm-hmm. So from a barn dominium to a full-blown breeding facility, horse, deer, you name it, there's pretty much nothing we won't do. Mm-hmm. But basically we concentrate on rural America. Okay. And there's no roadmap to how to do that. Mm-hmm. Most cities or counties, the municipalities actually have you go through a civil engineer and do mm-hmm. all the things for you to pull a permit. Well, in some of these counties in rural America, basically the only thing you have to pull a permit on is a well and a septic tank. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot more to it than that. There's roads. You're building a house right now, and mm-hmm. you're going through all the things. But mm-hmm. we get ahead of that. We have our own drawing, our teams that draw. I design all the infrastructure, so we budget that project from start to finish, and then we perform it.
Yeah, and so last time you and I talked, this is the thing that I thought was very, very cool about what you guys do. So, for example, my place, I'm dealing with a guy that builds houses. Mm-hmm. I'm not dealing with a guy that understands 60 acres,
right,
at all.
No.
You would be completely different,
right?
Because you guys actually come in. We're not just talking about, hey, where are we going to put the house and barn and build your pad and your driveway. You are, hey, we're going to go. What do you have? Well, we're going to have some horses, some cows. How are we going to lay our fences out? You guys do the whole thing.
The whole thing, and like what we learned since COVID, where we become very instrumental in the new people coming to the business or industry, is they don't know nothing about how to take care of a rural property.
Sure.
They know when they're living in the city, they drive to their garage, park their car, they're done. Mm-hmm. When you're driving out there and you have sheep, you have cows, you have whatever, mm-hmm. we actually help them facilitate, all right, this is how you're going to be the caretaker for this animal. Mm-hmm. This is how your tractor works when it regens. I mean, there's so many things that they just don't know. Yeah. So we'll help them furnish anything and everything to get them started. But also I want to make them successful so they can stay in the industry.
Sure.
So what a lot of people screw up is when we get people in the industry that are new, we take their money and run. But I like to harness them and get them where they need to, make them successful, understand stuff where they're not scared of it. So more of I guess we're more of your buddy system if you want to be out in rural America.
It's almost like a mentorship deal. It's like more of a mentorship.
Yeah,
we're going to build your place, but we're going to mentor you in how to use this property. You're exact. We hear these stories all the time where people come in and get taken advantage of. What you're doing is just the opposite. You're coming in and saying, all right, our client may have a bunch of money. That's great. They work very, very hard for it. They love this industry. Those are the people we want because that's what feeds our industry. That's what buys our horses, buys our cattle, so on and so forth. But then you go and you take them and show them how to manage their property. I love that side of it, Brad. I mean, that is so important.
It is.
So important because, that's what we're dealing with right now. We're pulling out all the fences on our place right now. And my thought is I've got to put everything where it needs to be. And until you think through that process, you're just building fence. Well, you don't just go build fence. I'm going to have an arena over here. We're going to have steers over here. We're going to be running cows over here. the guy behind me is going to lease me his place, so I got to make sure that when we redo the, are the gates in the right spot for all of that stuff, you know? And we only have 60 acres, so it's going to take us about a minute to get it grazed off.
Sure.
So all of those things, I love that you're doing that because it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. And I grew up in it, and it's overwhelming.
You know what's crazy is a lot of people that have grown up in the industry, they're used to having their fence guy, like Tyler Wade right now. If you want to call T Wade and have a conversation with him right now, I appreciate it because he's driving me crazy. He's got a buddy for this, a buddy for that, and his father and dad been around that whole area in East Texas forever, so they have so many partnership friendships.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're building a huge facility. It's a raw piece of property, and you're already building fence and shed rows and stuff, and we haven't even picked out where the arena and the houses are going. You got to slow down. Let me, and elect me as your chief.
Yeah.
Let me kind of operate with this. I'll work with all your people, but I just want to make sure we're all firing the same way, so we're not spending money backwards.
That's what they're not thinking about.
You know how many barns you walked in that are underwater, or shed rows or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I can alleviate it.
Pads aren't high enough. Whatever it is, absolutely. And like you say, if we'd pull back on the reins for 5 minutes, let us get a picture, let us figure it out, let us go out and shoot all your elevations real quick, and then so my dad used to do the same stuff all the time. We in Western Montana is where we grew up, and here's an example. So I was with him this time. We're up in the mountains of Western Montana. And we're up on this hill, and these people have all the money in the world, and we're like, we're building our house right here. And my dad's like, I probably wouldn't build my house right there. Like, we are building our house right here. He's like, okay, well, you build your house right there, and we're up in the mountains. It's going to get 5-6 feet of snow. We're literally 20 minutes from a ski area, and they wanted to build this house right in the middle of this bowl. Well, you've got about, I don't know how many millions of gallons of water that are going to be rolling through your front room come April. Mm-hmm. Don't think about that kind of stuff. Don't think about that and then want to fight you and then wonder why their house rolls away in the flood.
Yeah.
So
he's probably been doing it long enough or has done it long enough that you just know when you just got to either walk away or say, hey, this is not how I do this. I'm sorry, but you're going to hate me 5 years from now or even sooner because I let you do this.
Yep.
So, but then, the famous words I hear from when I'm talking to clients at this show or any show or in person is, our property's flat. Mm-hmm. There's not hardly any property. It's
not one in the
world.
Earth
is round for a reason. It's like nothing's perfectly flat. But they want to. That's how a lot of people win work against us is they minimize the dirt work. Mm-hmm. And then when they get in there,
you and my dad could talk for days.
Oh,
about
I get
this.
so mad because I could sit there and see exactly how much dirt work it's going to take, and it's like it's hard to convince somebody when they got a bid for $10,000, and I want them to spend $80,000, and all I'm trying to do is be a steward to them as a good builder and say, hey, this is what you actually need. And it's very lacking in our industry.
Absolutely.
Because there is a lot of guys that do metal buildings. They have a concrete guy and they have a fence guy and they're, whatever. None of them work together or have to work behind each other. Yeah. And that's how I formed my business. Was I got tired of customers calling me like, hey, thank you for building the building, but can you come inside and do the framing? Hey, can you come inside and find a good plumber? And I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it my way. Yeah. And create a process so it's organized. Yeah. So we're not.
And then you're using your same guys, and then all of it. My dad's the saying that my dad had all the time was, "Yes, sir, you're right. You don't have the money to do it right the first time, but you will have the money to call me to do it right the second time."
Right.
Which I'm sure you deal with all the time. Like, let's just do it right the first time. You're going to spend a little bit of money on the front side, but with the product that you end up with is going to be great. We went through all of that on this place that we're doing. Our dirt work guy is a dirt work guy. He became a friend. I was telling you about our driveway. They think you go knock the topsoil off there and throw a little bit of gravel down, you have a driveway. Okay, until you bring that mixer truck in there and bury it.
Yeah, 80,000 pounds.
Yeah, it's gone. Like when we were pulling ours is 5 or 6 feet deep, recompacted. We lost a D6 in it at some point because what we didn't know is underground there's like an old ancient like spring river deal that we had to put keyways in, like 3 different keyways in there, just stop the underground water that nobody could see that was going to flood us all out. Nobody thought about that. And nobody knew about it until we did it the right way. If not, my driveway would have been a mess. We never would have got a truck up there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but and that's funny you brought that up because there's so many scenarios that, like a geotech sometimes doesn't point out that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I have an old foundation guy, Mr. Hargrave. He travels all over the United States. He puts the heliarc piers in, all that good stuff. But I call him. I was like, hey, have you ever worked in this country? a geotech says it's good, but I want to make sure there's no underground water, because some of them veins travel so far and nobody's ever even heard of them until it rains so hard, the water tables move up, and then they're in that where they're messing with the structure. Yeah. So it's like, I always use wisdom. Yeah. Most of the time over technology. So. Yeah.
Well, I think that's so important, and like you say, that right there saved us. We dug a pond, and had that water that rolled through there that nobody knew about. And if we wouldn't have keywayed our pond, we would have just put a pond in that would have drained, and we would have never seen where the water went. Right. And then our driveway was right past it, so then we would have had a driveway and it rains a lot in Oklahoma. Sure. So well, man, that's very, very cool that you guys put all of that together and help these people out. Like you and I talked last time. I wish you and I had been buddies before we started the process. God, I'd love to have you come up and just get your take on the whole place. How we fence it, where we're going to put our house, and all that. Because at the end of the day, you'll save people money. Oh, yeah. It may look expensive on the front end, but you're going to save them. Yeah.
Well, once people, even if we don't build for them, or they find out about how our process works, or they see a buddy do it, I mean, we get so many recommendations of like, if you want to stay married through a process, or you want to keep
amen to this,
and another thing, like in these ranches that are already developed, I mean, it's so hard to find help now. Yeah. That your ranch manager's doing so much already, they don't have time to manage a concrete guy, a metal building guy. Sure. So we kind of act as that person that's taking care of that, or he can go take care of his cattle or what have you. He's looking after.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Works well.
Well, that's cool, Brad. How many guys you got on your team, Brad? What does your whole team look like right now?
Depending on what day it is and how my temper is, but I am redheaded, so it's like
comes and goes.
I can't navigate that attitude sometimes. Yeah. But we run about 70 to 90.
Wow. Yeah. Bigger operation. Yeah. Good deal. Good deal. What was your personal background? Were you doing dirt work before, or were you building houses, or how did it all?
I was day working. I grew up on a breeding farm in Rockwall, Texas. Not on it, but I grew up working on one. Sure. So I've been around the horse industry since I was 12 years old. But we built 2 ranches doing those facilities, and as I did, I didn't realize I was going to college the whole time.
You absolutely.
I was cussing and screaming and about digging water lines and doing all the things, but there wasn't nothing we didn't do. So it's kind of giving me my footprint of how to do this from start to finish, and I didn't even realize it until I got out, started building fence and day work, and then built some buildings, and I was like, here we go. I know how to put these water lines in the right way. I know, with like black gumbo, there's different types of soil types. Sure. So you have to put water line in, different types of water line in, expansive soil. So I was going to college and wasn't.
So you didn't go get a civil engineering degree or anything like that? Really? School of Hard Knocks?
School of Hard Knocks. But what's crazy is I have a lot of architects and engineers that reach out to me to help them evaluate a project, or VE, value engineer something. Sure. Just to, hey, what do you think this would work? I'm like, I don't know the math and the science behind it, but I know it.
I know it works.
Yeah, I know it works. And it's like, okay, well, I think we could pull that off, doing it that way. Yeah. So, and that, I like that. I don't brag about it a lot, but that's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my dad was the same way. I think he went like 2 years of VOTEC or something. It was like, that's enough. Yeah. I'm going to bought a backhoe and ended up creating a very successful business, do same thing. Yeah. Same thing.
I surround myself by a lot of smart people too. And good customers. One thing I've learned as I've gotten older is kind of vet my customers, make sure that
it's okay to fire a customer. Isn't it?
It is.
It's okay to fire a customer.
Now when I'm locked in, I won't quit. Yeah. I probably should have a couple times, but I just don't have it in me. But they feel like I'm proving a point with my money. Yeah, which it's okay. Yeah, but I try to vet them up front, and so my team does too. Yeah. They realize if they're already starting to jump ahead of the process and wanting to talk to me all the time, it's not going to work. Yeah. Yeah. I can't be there on every step of the way. Sure. And that's not a problem. Everybody that works for me has a process. They know how it works. They don't need their hand held. Yeah. So or they wouldn't work for me.
You've built a great team.
Yeah, they're a great team. I couldn't do it without them. Yeah. They're awesome.
That's awesome. Well, what else do we have going on? Are you guys doing anything special here at the Cow Horse Show, or just got the booth?
Last night we gave out 2 $1,500 scholarships.
Oh, you did? Good.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, for some youth members, and one of them's from Utah. He's going to welding school. Cool. So both of them are trade based. The other young lady couldn't come. She had another commitment, but out of town. So, both seniors moving on in the trades, and what we try to focus on them being a member of the organization first.
Yep.
That's what supports NRCHA.
Sure.
And also, if they're in the trades.
Good for you.
That's what my scholarships are based off of, because we're so lacking in that. And I'm starting to see a comeback in, with my twin girls are 18, and I'm starting to see a lot of their people that hang around them are really intrigued about welding or being an electrician or plumber, because
it feels like it's coming back.
It is. It's itching, but but I feel like, and I'm gonna say this, and people might call me out on it, but I feel like, the cowboy industry being cool has kind of pushed that.
Helping it.
It's helping it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of kids want to be a part of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or they're missing their self-well-being of where they fit in life, and once they start clicking and that stuff's making them cool, and they naturally want to evolve and learn more about it.
I tell you what, Brad, I went home, I flew home on Friday and spent 2 days building fence, and we're building decorative fence out front of the house, just vertical 2x6s, stall channel, top rail, just pretty nice wood fence on our entryway. And had a young man, I think he's 17 years old, from there in Wagner, Oklahoma, come and help me. And so in the last 2 days we worked right at, I think I had him out there like a 9-hour day and a 11-hour day. And he stepped back and he looked at that fence and he'd never done anything like that looked beautiful, and it clicked for him. And he's like, this is the type of stuff I want to do. And it was so cool seeing him as a young guy. Like, I can't even explain it. And this was day one. So yesterday he shows up on time, because I was like, man, I worked his tail off that first day. Like, there's no way. We set posts all day, and it was just hard work. You know what it's like. You're just out there concreting posts in the ground. And he came back, and we got a section of that fence done. And he's like, I'll be out there. I'll finish it while you're gone. Don't worry about it. I love how this looks. I got to drive. He drove by it 5 or 6 times just to drive by and look at it. And I think that's pretty dang cool, because they see an end product and they have that self-worth. And you can't get that on a cell phone.
Yeah.
You really can't. And I think it's very, very cool. And if these young kids can get out there and do those trade jobs, they'll see that and they'll feel that.
Yeah. I got 2 prime examples of that. I have my lady that runs my Decatur office, does the sales for the houses out there and stuff, and interior design. She came from Lifetime Fitness, running 3 of those. And I just happened to meet her at a bar one day when she's celebrating her brother's birthday, and we got to talking, and it clicked to me on her personality and her drive, and we just got to chatting about it. She wanted to move back up she was working out in San Antonio, wanted to move back up towards home.
Up to God's country.
Yeah, God's country.
Yeah.
And, and now she knew nothing about the housing industry, knew nothing about construction, but now, selling over $20 million of product on her own. Yeah. That's cool. And her counterpart in East Texas, I met her selling coolers at a trade show.
Yeah.
But her personality, her engagement, and how she handled customers, I was like, wow.
That's awesome.
And then same thing, had no background of it and taught her. So you never know who you're going to talk to.
But isn't it cool, though? But they can also see that you have a good product and they believe in it.
And they stand behind it. They'll fight toe-to-toe with anybody for me because they know what I stand for.
Yeah.
And that's a great feeling, because when somebody's not working out in a company, they're like wolves. They just circle around them and get rid of them before I even
that's
say
it.
anything.
They'll weed themselves out, won't they? Pretty fast.
Real quick.
Well, Bradley, this is awesome, man. Congratulations on the business you've built.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So for those people out there that are looking, where do we send them?
All our social platforms, Raptor P Construction. We have a nice website, raptorconstruction.com. It can guide you through all the galleries and how we do stuff, our processes. But we're pretty active on all our socials. Yeah. So
I'm guilty as charged, man. So my builder, he's not from our industry. He's a really good guy. And I decided not to GC our deal, just being so busy and everything. But I sent him to your website. I'm like, this is this is our style. So I totally did that. I'm like, this is what because we're kind of doing a barn house look, but interior wise and everything. I'm like, look, this is our style. We're not modern Tulsa. We're Decatur, Texas. Right. That just happens to be in Wagner. And so they've seen your website.
Well, I mean, you'll send a lot of people my way. And I tell I was like, you use. And that's one thing I like about my website. It does show what we put out. Yeah. And then when other people are looking at it, because websites are kind of a thing of the past. Yep. Everybody tries to perform on a social platform. Well, them websites take money, lots of it.
Lots and a lot of time.
Yep. but it gives you such an inventory of how long you've been in business, of what you can put out, and your product stays the same over the years.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of selling yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, pal, thanks for coming and hanging out. It's
Yes,
good to
sir.
see you, man. You're
Good to
looking
see
great,
you.
pal.
Thank you.
Man, oh, man.
Quit drinking, quit eating too much.
Man, the two things that I need to do, Brad. Thanks for calling me out right here, man. I need to get after it. Well, buddy, thank you so much for everything you do. And not only here, you guys are a big part of the Western industry. Thanks so much for giving back. I love the scholarship deal.
Yes, sir.
That's great. That's great. So, guys and gals, if you're out there, you're looking to build a place, or even if they just need help on their place,
Yeah.
give them a call.
Yeah.
It's
Glad to help.
It's easy. It's easy. And they're set up at pretty much every major event we've got down here. You guys are almost like us, almost have a permanent booth down here at the John Justin.
Yeah, I'm here 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in Vegas, the other 2 months.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like-
pretty much. We're pretty much roommates.
Yep.
So, well, Brad, thanks so much, guys. Check them out online and go to their socials. Rafter P. They do beautiful, beautiful work. And we're going to continue bringing you more and more results, winners, sponsor highlights from here at our Cal Power Celebration of Champions, along with the Tres Osos Derby and, of course, the world's greatest horseman. Friends, I'm Drew Stew on behalf of EQN Sports, all driven by Holiday Auto Group. Thanks for all of this coverage brought to you by our friends at Ranch Fuel. We'll catch all of you in a little bit.